In August of 2025, a video went viral on Chinese social media. In the video, 3 teenagers filmed themselves brutally beating up their classmate for 4 hours. The parents of the victim begged the police to bring justice to these bullies, but the 3 girls received little to no punishment. Bullying is a problem in every country, but in China, the brutality is on another level. And when I show you the horrifying videos rampant on Chinese social media, you'll see what I mean. It's very difficult to pinpoint how common bullying is in China. One nationwide survey found that 11% of students report being bullied, which is actually significantly less than the US. But another study finds the opposite. 75% of kids in China have experienced bullying. Every study uses different measures to qualify bullying, so we can't just use statistics to understand this situation. However, it's quite clear that bullying in China is more extreme than in other countries, and kids in China are willing to go a lot further to torment a classmate. In 2016, this boy was forced into a restroom, where 7 bullies severed 5 tendons in his right hand. In October of 2025, a group of boys beat an 11-year-old for 6 hours, leading to multiple organ ruptures and internal organ damage. Weibo is a Chinese blogging website that's very similar to Twitter. There's been a trend of Chinese students recording themselves beating and humiliating a classmate, and uploading these videos onto Weibo and apps like TikTok and RedNote. In this video posted on Weibo, bullies force a teenager to eat feces. In this video, a girl counts every slap she inflicts. In this video posted on RedNote, bullies surround a girl and beat her. Now, I'm just gonna say this, finding these videos wasn't very hard. All it took was a few Google searches to come across these horrendous videos. It really goes to show how many of these videos exist on the internet, which could be an indicator on how common bullying actually is in China. A common trend that can be seen in these bullying videos is how group dynamics play a very large role. China is a collectivist society, which affects how bullying takes place, compared to Western countries, which run on individualism. In America, for example, bullying commonly happens on an individual basis. 1 or 2 kids will talk trash to another kid, and sometimes a one-on-one fight will break out. This reflects America's individualism. In China, however, bullying is rarely one-on-one, but instead a group of students ganging up on a single classmate. They're all taking part, taking turns to inflict pain, like they're participating in some sort of sick communal ritual. I have to censor all these videos I'm showing you guys because of YouTube's community guidelines. If you want to watch the uncensored version, you can find it on my Patreon page. These students don't view the situation through their individual identity, but rather through the identity of the group. This allows them to justify the horrible acts they are committing and not feel guilty for it. Culture helps explain the group dynamics of bullying in China. But why are these kids so violent? Well, there's a lot of different factors here, and a big one is the behavior they learn from their teachers. Corporal punishment is very common in Chinese schools. I actually covered this topic in a previous video I made, which you can check out later. It's very normal for teachers to ridicule and humiliate students who get bad scores in front of the whole class, as well as punish them physically. And teachers start treating kids like this very early on, as soon as they're old enough to attend school. Modeling is a concept in psychology that children learn by observing and imitating others. In one of the most famous studies in psychology, Albert Bandura had children watch adults aggressively beat up a Bobo doll. Afterwards, without being told to do so, the children naturally started imitating this behavior, violently attacking the doll. When children grow up watching their teachers bully students, they will naturally learn to imitate that behavior. And the same can be said about the way children learn from their parents. Due to the ideals of Confucianism and generational trauma, parents in China often use extreme methods of discipline, like beatings using objects, hair pulling, or slaps across the face. And children will naturally learn to imitate this behavior, which carries over to how they act when they're bullying someone. In this video, a student is slapping another student, similar to how a Chinese parent would. In this video, a student is beating a student with an object, similar to how a Chinese parent would.
完了之后，就把施暴的几个人就放掉了。当时报警之后，发现这个小孩子已经快不行了。
Another factor that explains this violence is the prominence of social Darwinism in Chinese culture. Social Darwinism claims that social progress is the result of relentless competition, where the fittest individuals survive while the weak are eliminated. Throughout Chinese history, eugenics have been a very common practice. Even today, Chinese society is built around an exam called the Gaokao, in which only those who pass can have a good life. Those who fail are doomed to live in poverty or economic hardship. This idea of survival of the fittest can be seen in the bullying culture of China. Students who are most likely to get bullied are those who are deemed as weak. For example, students who get poor grades or are socially awkward are likely to get bullied by their teachers or classmates. And this bullying is justified through the mindset of social Darwinism. Now, with so many videos on the internet of students brutally assaulting each other, you'd think that the police would be involved, right? Well, not really. According to Article 17 of the Criminal Law of China, individuals under the age of 14 cannot be criminally prosecuted unless they committed or attempted homicide. And for individuals aged 14 to 16, individuals can only be prosecuted for serious crimes like these. Oftentimes, the abuse and assault involved in bullying isn't bad enough for a student to be criminally prosecuted. And bullies in China know this. They're unafraid of their actions because they know they won't legally be punished. And besides the police, China's school system as a whole gives very little attention to bullying. Education is very important to China's society, and they see anything else as unimportant. A child is getting bullied? It doesn't matter. Grades are more important. And when teachers are the ones doing a lot of the bullying, you think they would care if they see students participating in bullying as well? If you're from America, you probably learned about the golden rule growing up. Treat others the way you want to be treated. But Chinese schools put a lot less emphasis in teaching these moral lessons. Children are actually taught to hate certain groups of people and ideologies, and one example of this is the Japanese. Children are taught derogatory terms and to disrespect Japanese culture. Now, if children are encouraged to be hateful starting from a very early age, they will start to believe that hatred is a good thing that can occasionally be justified, which increases bullying. School administrators often downplay the bullying that happens by either dismissing it as a smaller problem than it actually is, or straight up denying that it happened. In January of 2024, the body of 18-year-old Zhang Xingwei was found in a river. There was very clear evidence that he was bullied, including him writing how people spread rumors and verbally abused him. Many of the locals suspected that he was beaten to death, but school authorities declared that Zhang Xingwei ended himself because of the pains of love. When his parents tried to investigate the situation and request for an autopsy, the government ordered anonymous men to break into their house and threaten them into silence. And this type of story happens all the time in China. When an individual ends themselves because of bullying, school authorities will deny that bullying ever happened and declare that the death was caused by other irrelevant factors. Instead of spreading awareness to this problem, the government, like they do with many other problems, tries to censor or hide details about what really happened. With a lot of the bullying videos that blow up on social media, the government either takes it down or heavily censors it. This is because these bullying videos portray the flaws and injustices of the Chinese school system, and the government doesn't want the public to know about it. When parents of bullying victims try to speak out, they're often pressured by the government to stay quiet. Parents of the victims often get some sort of compensation for if their child is no longer alive. But if the parents speak out about bullying, they'll be unable to receive that compensation. Because of this, parents often have no choice but to stay silent about what happened to their child. This really all goes to show that there's a lot going on in China that we'll never really know. It's very likely that the bullying problem in China is actually even worse than we already imagine it to be, simply because so much information is hidden from China and the rest of the world. The CCP has over 100 million members. These people receive special societal benefits, and one of the major ones is that their family and relatives can receive less consequences for the crimes they commit. If a child has family connections with someone who works for the CCP, that child can be excused from bullying and receive little to no punishment. The mentality of social Darwinism also plays a role here. A child who is connected to the CCP will see other children as weaker and below them, which helps them justify their bullying. Remember the viral bullying video I talked about at the start of this video? Well, one of these girls is actually the daughter of a CCP official. That's one of the reasons why she received no punishment whatsoever. When the public found out that these girls received no punishment, the city of Jiangyu, which is where the bullying video took place, was furious. This led to a mass protest and violent clashes with the police. Keep in mind that protests are very rare in China, so when they do happen, it shows that this is a very serious ongoing problem that the public can no longer bear. Bullying is a massive problem in China, and it's probably not going to get better anytime soon. In 2024, China's Ministry of Education claimed to address the bullying problem by investigating bullying cases and educating teachers and parents on accountability and intervention. Now, this all sounds good on paper, but from what we've seen on how the Chinese government actually reacts to real horrific bullying cases, it's quite clear that bullying is not a big concern for the Chinese government, and it's going to remain a problem in China. The countless amounts of horrific bullying stories which have happened in the last year are direct proof of this. The bullying problem in China has a lot of parallels to the violent parenting styles that are normalized in Chinese culture, and in many ways, the two are directly tied to one another. To fully understand the bullying problem in China, it's also important to understand the harsh reality of what Asian parenting can look like. And I made a video on this topic that you can check out right here. Thank you for watching, and join my Patreon to watch the uncensored version of this video, and I hope you have an amazing day.